Okay, hi. So today's topic, okay, property purchases, emotional and electable purchase. Okay, I like to go into discussing a little bit about an emotional purchase and an electable purchase. I actually use these terms to make it easier to remember because both start with E. As I explain, I think it will become clearer why I use these particular terms. Okay. Now, before I start, right, I would like to explain, and you need to understand the type of developers out there. So a lot of people have the idea that, hey, if I buy a brand new property, or uh, some of these ideas were taught to them by maybe previous investors or agents as well. Okay, that if you buy a brand new property, you are sure to make money. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand the type of developers that are out there, because if you're buying a new property, you're buying from developers. Okay, so the first type of developer, okay, they buy the land, they build the project, and then they will actually take a marginal amount of profits and leave the main bulk of the profits to the first owner. Again, in simple terms, I'm explaining three types of developers. The second type of developer, they buy the land, they build, they leave half the profits to the new owner and take half of the profits. Okay. The third type of developer, buy the land from the government, they build, they take all the profits. On top of that, they factor in a premium, okay, or what is termed as a future price, and then sell it to the first buyer. So the first buyer, very, very difficult for them to make money if they are paying a future price. All right. So first of all, after understanding these three different types of developers, okay, not all developers fall into the third type, or not all developers fall on the first type. Okay, I am keeping things simple. These are the three types of developer behavior that we see on the ground. And there's no wrong or right, because there might be a product that is only one in itself and is so unique. And of course, the developer can price accordingly. Okay. And of course, there are some developers out there who are particularly skewed towards the third type of developer. Some particular names of developers, of course, I'm not going to name any developer today, but some of them, they are skewed more towards the first type of developer. Okay, but in general sense, to make things simple, these three types of developers we need to understand exist, all right, in the marketplace. Okay, so now let's move into today's topic, property purchase, emotional and electable. Okay, I'll give you an example so you can understand and see how this thing works. All right. Okay. This is a very clear example of an emotional purchase. This property is called Scotch Square. It's very popular. I believe some of you would have heard about it. Okay. It's in a very, very good location, just above the Scotts Shopping Center. Okay, and it's freehold, an excellent location. It's next to a famous shopping belt in Singapore. Of course, we all know Orchard Road. And in fact, it's just a few steps away from Orchard MRT as well. So the location and all the boxes are ticked. It's definitely a very, very good product, okay, as we can see. All right. But if we dig a little bit more, because this property was actually launched in 2007, okay, let's dive a little bit into the numbers, okay, and this is where things get interesting. All right, now as you can see here, okay, 2007, okay, all these units, okay, yeah, and this was the purchase price. So 10 years later, okay, 2017, 2018 period, every single unit, the average loss is at least $1 million. Okay, so basically whole 10 years, lose, in fact, over $1 million each and every unit. All right. If you ask me, are the units huge? No. They are very average size units, about three bedders, three bedder size in today's market. So are they a particularly huge units? No, they are not. Okay, but they have lost $1 million and in fact more than $1 million in 10 years. Okay, now we understand a little bit more about what happened, the numbers. Now we see. Let's look at the time frame. Because some people say that based on 2007, this was just before the economic crisis, the collapse of Lehman Brothers, if you can remember, was in just a couple of months away from this, actually, in 2008 of February. Okay, so a lot of people blame the wrong timing, all right? So if you look at this, it was the global financial crisis. Now let's look at another property that was launched right about the same period as Scotts Square. Okay, now Soleil at Sinaran, which is actually not too far away, it's actually at District 11, okay, in Novena, all right? It's a 99-year leasehold, okay, and location is pretty good as well. As you can see, it's quite near to Novena MRT as well, okay? Now, same period of time, 2007 period, okay, sold 10 years later, profit $1 million. So one particular property bought at the same period of time and sold 10 years later, lost over $1 million. Another property that's not too far away, okay, bought at the same period of time, sold 10 years later, made over $1 million. So can we really blame it on timing? Okay, not really, right? Okay, this shows that that is not a factor that we factor in. So you remember just now I told you about the three types of developers, okay? Now, this property, okay, Scotts Square, was sold at a future price. In fact, actually, you can take a look at the purchase prices here. Even in today's market, these prices are, today we are, how many years are we away from 2007? 16 years there. So 16 years, these were the prices bought in 2007. $4,000 per square foot. I think even in today's market, this would be considered high. All right, but you bought this 16 years ago at this price. So basically the developer is already factoring future price for their buyers. Okay, so how can you make money? How can you make money with a project like that? Of course, I understand on the ground, not everybody is buying property to make money. But if today I tell you, you buy a property, if you just don't do your certain basic homework, you're for sure to lose money. Will you take note of that? I'm sure you would. Nobody over 10 years wants to lose over $1 million, no matter how rich or no matter where you come from. All right. Nobody wants to be a fool to lose that over $1 million in 10 years, no matter how good or how good the product is. And if the product is so good, why will you lose money? Okay. So let's take a look at another property. This one is a little bit further away in Woodley. Okay. So just in case, I actually done up this extra slide in case you would think that, oh, I'm only using examples from the core central region, District 11, District 9. No. Okay, I'll give you an example from Woodley. Okay, Woodley is all the way near Potong Pasir. Okay, also bought in 2007 period, sold 10 years later. Okay, sold 10 years later, roughly about the same size. Okay, every single one of them, averagely, I would say, make $1 million. make $1 million. Okay? Look at their purchase price per square foot. I'm not saying that in today's market, right, you can buy again into this type of prices. It is just not possible. Okay, if it were possible, then we will not be able to look at this type of graph. We will not be able to see this type of trend in our property markets in Singapore. All right. Now, I think you can appreciate now the term electable and emotional. So certain purchases are, even developers know, they price it they're very smart, right? They know it's going to be an emotional purchase. Scott Square, there's nothing like it. There's nothing in the whole sector or in the district there at that point in 2007. There's nothing like it. They know people will buy into it. So they factor in the future price. They take all the profits and leave you to suffer the losses years later. So if you are buying a property today, it doesn't mean that if you buy something brand new, you are sure to make money. It is simply not true. There are just so many factors to look into it. And developer behavior, okay, and selling methods are one of them to look at. Okay, I will definitely go deeper and more in depth into this as we explore further down my episodes as well. Okay, now today I was a little bit late in doing up this video, so I'll give you some bonus material. Okay, the reason was because my Zoom account earlier was actually stuck. I couldn't get into my Zoom account. So I apologize for that. I understand, I think I'm slightly late now, a couple of hours late to upload this video. So I'll give you some bonus material. Okay, now, in a real estate journey, right, if we are to build our assets, okay, if we are to build our assets today, there are 3 stages that we need to understand. And typically, anybody using real estate to build their wealth go through these 3 stages. Whether they know it or they don't know it, they are actually going through these 3 stages. The first stage is wealth creation. You buy your first property, you make your first pot of gold. Simple terms, make your first pot of gold, sell the property, and you buy something else. Okay? Preferably, you buy 2 properties. Okay, I will explain further down. Okay, and that is where we hit stage 2, which is growth. Okay, where we split up our profits and buy 2 assets. Okay, and the last stage is preservation. That is when we restructure our portfolio. Okay, when I say restructure portfolio, we need to understand the life cycle of the property in Singapore. I will speak a little bit more about this life cycle of property in Singapore in my future episodes, so please stay tuned to it. But just to give you an understanding, properties do hit stagnation and properties do, in fact, hit a depreciative curve over time. That is undisputable. Okay, and that is probably some time away from your very first stage of your wealth journey. Okay, and when it comes to preservation, no matter how well your property has performed from stage 1, it is always good to sit down, take a look, restructure your portfolio. Is there something else that we can switch into that makes our money work harder for us? Okay, that is the preservation stage. Okay, example. Okay, this is an example from one of my clients' portfolio. Okay, Caspian bought, as you can see, in 2009 for 953,000, sold just a mere 3 years plus later at 2012 for a 1.86 million. Okay, total profits 907,000. Okay, his down payment in 2009 was just 190K. Okay, so total profits more than $1 million. Okay, in a short span of 3 years. Now, what can we do? Okay, we know this. If we sell, what is the next step that we can go into for the growth stage? Okay, we spot the next opportunity. You notice that this is the trend for Caspian. So we sell here, and there is an opportunity in actually 2014 to swap properties. Okay, now if you notice that here itself, we are already hitting a stagnation. Okay, a stagnation. Now, if there is something that is new and the gap is very close, I think this is a very, very good opportunity to look at into switching your asset. Okay. Okay. This is exactly what my client did in his portfolio. After cashing out from Caspian, okay, he bought two properties. Okay, he bought two properties. He bought two properties at Bartley Ridge. Okay, both bought in 2014, as I mentioned. Okay, one was bought in at 1.123 million. The other was bought in at 1.5. Okay. So basically, total investment deposit here is for the 1.1 million property is buying into is 224 plus another deposit of 399. Total funds invested from his profits from the previous property 625,000. Again, 625,000. So 2019, both of these Bartley Ridge properties, just about 5 years. Yeah, okay, just about 5 years. Okay, so sold at one of the units sold at 1.53, the other unit sold at 1.95. Okay, now total profits. This is the interesting part. Okay, total profits 631 plus 752,000. So within this short period, he started in 2009, if I'm not wrong. Started off in 2009. Within that period of 10 years, he has amassed a wealth of almost $2 million, 1.85 million. Then we would think back, if we work hard for 10 years and we save our money into whatever assets we can save into. I mean, besides the bank, of course, that's probably the silliest way to make our money work for us, right? I cannot think of something that can give you this sort of a return. Yeah. So that's not the end of it. Okay. There is another opportunity in 2019 as well. All right. And that was a new property. As you can see, for Bartley Ridge, right? Gone up. And then what happened? They go into a stagnation period. There was an opportunity to switch into Florence. Okay, and my client bought into Florence in 2019. Okay, now he's sitting on almost close to $500,000 of profits today. But he's renting out that one for rental yield. He wants passive income because he's has already retired actually. Yeah, so keeping that property. In fact, it's fully paid already. So this is another opportunity where we see that the gap, okay, from the peak of his Bartley Ridge and a new property, the gap is really very close. So this is another opportunity where he can switch his portfolio and switch up his assets. All right. Yes. So this is what I have for you today. Something for you to chew on. Okay. I do a summary again. All right. So I've shared today the three different types of developers out there that we need to, I would say, be more cautious of when we are buying into property. Don't just look at all the emotional factors. Okay, take a look and study a little bit more with your consultant about this particular developer. What is the developer's profit margin based on this property itself that you're buying into? Okay, so yeah, and there is also the bonus material that I shared with you today. I hope it has been useful. Okay, the three stages of a real estate journey. Okay, or the three stages to building your wealth through real estate. All right. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you in the next episode.